Throughout history, ideologies have constantly clashed with each other in attempts to prove their supremacy. Nowhere has that struggle for power and validation, however, been so perfectly exemplified than the Cold War. For the Cold War was not a regular war with boots on the ground, but rather a war of threats and ideologies, a fight to show which economic system was better. The communist system, with a centrally planned economy and nationalized industry, or capitalism, with free markets and a rampant private industry. However, unlike most wars, the Cold War itself did not have an official start date. In fact, many argue that it began in 1945, after the end of World War II, with the Potsdam Conference, where the decision was made that the Allies would split up post-war Germany and the city of Berlin itself into 4 separate occupation zones. This was only supposed to be temporary, as both sides sought to reunite Germany later on. However, as the distrust between the West and the Soviet Union grew, this temporary solution became permanent for over 30 years. And as the Cold War went on, if you wanted a perfect symbol of a divided Europe, look no further than the city of Berlin and with its Berlin Wall. Yet, how did this wall rise? Well, to get an answer to that, we must go to the early 1960s, at the height of the Cold War. For it was during this time that citizens of East Germany, more importantly the highly intelligent and highly skilled workers, began leaving for West Berlin, as they were dissatisfied with the communist system they were living under. East Germany did not like this, so with permission from the Soviet Union, they placed barbed wire around West Berlin. However, this barbed wire became a concrete wall, then 2 concrete walls with no man's land between them, then guard towers with guards ordered to shoot anyone trying to cross, and then guard dogs, until it seemed like West Berlin was a newly built prison. Again, a prime example of a divided Europe between East and West. Yet like the Cold War, the Berlin Wall would not last forever, for as the 1980s roll around, a new leader was elected in the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, who had a more moderate policy than his predecessors, and as so, he extended rights to those of the Eastern Bloc and of Russia itself. However, many took their new rights and started to demand more, and East Germany was no exception, where the East German government was forced to somewhat ease restrictions on travel to the West. And while rolling out one of these new policies, one of the spokespersons telling the public about this misread it, and the public misinterpreted this as they could go to West Berlin and the West at any point in time, including right now. So in November 1989, thousands stormed West Berlin, and the guards at the Berlin Wall had no idea what to do, and they only did the only logical solution they could come up with. They let them through. And although it would take several months for the governments to figure this out, the people knew that on that night, not only had Berlin been unified, but so had Germany. And not long after, the Cold War ended with the fall of the Soviet Union. Yet, with the Berlin Wall being torn down, how did Mikhail Gorbachev react? Well, we have it right here as captured live on Soviet TV.
News has come of the devastating fall of our communist brothers in East Germany. Today, the Berlin Wall has fallen. Soviet Premier Gorbachev has released an apology video regarding this event.
Dear Russia, where do I begin? Let's start with this. I'm sorry. This is the first for me. I've never faced criticism like this before because I've never made a mistake like this before. I'm surrounded by good people and believe I make good decisions, but I'm still a human being. I can be wrong. I didn't do it to bow down to capitalism. I already bowed down to capitalism by doing ads for Pizza Hut and letting McDonald's into the Soviet Union. I did it because I thought I could make a positive ripple on East Germany, not cause a monsoon of protest. It's never the intention. I intended to unite separated families, and while I thought, if this action makes just one person's life better, it'll be worth it, I was misguided by shock and awe as portrayed in the pro-communist protests. I still am. I do this demo every day. I handled nuclear weapons, planned the distribution of resources, and even reformed the system throughout my term. One may understand that it's easy to get caught up in the moment without fully weighing the possible ramifications. I'm often reminded of how big a reach I truly have, and with great power comes great responsibility. For the first time, I'm regretful to say that I handled that power incorrectly. It won't happen again. I love everyone. I believe in the power of the proletariat. I'm out here. Peace, #GorbaGang. The fall of the Berlin Wall inspired many movements towards democracy and freedom within the Soviet Union and eventually led to Gorbachev's resignation. Just a day after, the Soviet Union formally ceased to exist on December 25, 1991. In short, the Berlin Wall and its fall created a chain of events that eventually led to the fall of the Soviet Union and the fall of overall communism throughout the entire world.